was so talented at the sport, but this career-ending injury put him in a dark place. A place where he thought that dealing with Neil was a fantastic idea.
Bro, this story is not making sense, bro. Y'all failed at sports, so you started selling drugs. But you didn't try to go to school. You was at the best school. You could have got a degree. You had a loving mom and dad.
I am the stone that the builder refused. I am the visual, the inspiration.
You too. What it do, man? It is your boy Abdul up next, and I am back with another video today, man. Yes, Sirski. Bro, we going crazy on merch right now, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. We sold out in 2 sizes, bro. We don't have any more smalls left. We don't have any more extra larges left. And if you wear a size large, there's only 2 jackets left, you guys. But if you wear a medium, we got a little bit left for you, but it's less than 10. The merch actually selling out fast. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who copped the jacket. Keep getting you a jacket. Let's sell all the way out. If you wear a large, there's 2 more jackets left. But guess what? I'm gonna help you get a little bit off your order. Code HBD. Get a little bit of money off. I got you. Hey man, y'all already know I'm out here putting out better merch than YouTubers. This giving a little streetwear vibe. Like people gonna look at you like you got on fashion. Whole time you got it from a YouTuber. Think about that. We gotta get rid of these jackets so we can move on to crazier stuff. I don't do spoils on surprises, buddy. So let's get these jackets up out the way, man. Get you a jacket, boo. TheForeignSociety.org. It's in the description and in the pinned comment. But you guys. Ooh, I don't know how to describe these kids besides Patrick brained. Low level. The size of their brain compared to their head is pretty small. There actually be nothing up there in a lot of people's heads. I know a lot of my viewers might think I'm stupid, but let's just necessarily look at this correctly. This is my noggin when I was 14. It's pretty big, bro. I had quite the noggin. My noggin was bigger than my entire body. I was the first black jelly bean. This is one of the few jelly beans you'll find in like Bean Boozled or something. You know it's a nasty jelly bean too. But there's something in my brain though. You know what I'm saying? These kids was running a empire in school. They thought they was whole masterminds. You watched one movie, bro. This is why you don't do what you see in movies. They be making it look a little bit too easy. They ran a whole empire in school. I don't know what they were selling to students. Vape pens? Now, if you sell vape pens in school, you probably gonna get rich. But don't do that though. But you probably gonna get rich, bro. Because these students in school, bro, they'll vape in the hallways. When the teacher not looking in class, they'll charge their vape in class on a Chromebook. They do all of that. So I gotta see how they started this empire, bro. Who knows? El Chapo dude might have to enter the picture. Hey! I'll serve to my pregnant auntie if I got to.
But what the hell?
Like the video before we even get started, man, and let's really check this out for real. Let's see. I know they not smarter than me. They thought they was a genius doing this, huh? Bro, only El Chapo getting away with this, buddy.
2013, 2 kids named Timothy Brooks and Neil Scott had dreams of becoming kingpins.
Your name is Timothy? You dreaming to be a kingpin? Bro, you could have been an astronaut. Bro, when they be like, you want to be a doctor when you grow up, that's kind of realistic for Timothy. Your name is Timothy. I expected you to like, a school or something. What are you doing? Selling drugs.
They both had recently graduated from Haverford High School, a prestigious $35,000 a year private school located in the suburbs of Philadelphia.
You paid $100,000 to go to high school? $35,000 a year, that's $100K. Bro, what do your parents do? OnlyFans? How do you get that much money? Yo daddy gotta be popping bussy.
With alums including Olympic athletes, award-winning actors, and more. It was one of the finest academic institutions in the country, and these 2 guys wanted to control every single drug being sold there.
There's drugs being sold in good schools? Is that how y'all study for tests? That's how they study for tests. I knew it. Bro, you just not remembering that, bro. They taking something that's helping them be able to study for test. I knew it. Has to. And I knew that $35,000 a year tuition ain't gonna pay itself. I don't even got money to go to college. You paid to go to high school. How you think they paid it?
Through strategic planning, greed, and threats, the duo grew their operation from a small-time hustle into a full-blown drug ring, recruiting numerous high schoolers and college students to push their product. But their efforts didn't end at Haverford. They set their sights on dominating the entire Philadelphia suburban market, targeting numerous local high schools and colleges in the process. But as their ambitions grew, so did the risks that eventually spiraled into one of the most shocking busts in private school history. The township of—
Bro, why he's saying this like there's like a list of private schools of people who was— Where do y'all get time to study for tests? Bro, this is not y'all body. Y'all know the periodic table by heart and stuff like that.
of Haverford is a tranquil one, to say the least. With a population of just over 6,500 engulfed in its tree-lined streets, well-maintained lawns, and family-friendly atmosphere, most would consider it the perfect place to raise a family. But this safe, idealistic neighborhood doesn't come without a cost. The average annual income of a household in Haverford is over $266 grand. Pair that with an average home price of around $1.2 million.
God damn. So all of them selling and doing OnlyFans. I know that all of them not getting that legal money. Man, don't be surprised when you see my Feet Finder link pop up. I'm about to pop some pussy.
And it's clear that every kid in this neighborhood has a cocaine addiction. Okay, that's a joke, but the families that live here are pretty above average in terms of wealth, which makes it the perfect place for an institution like Haverford High School. This prestigious all-boys prep school is known as one of the finest high schools in the country and has produced all-star humans like
All-boys school. Hey, yo. I know it's private. I know it's Pride Month. I'm here to support. All boys school? Man, I'm so good. The hallway's musty. Bro, that's a sausage party, bro. That sounds like HELL, bro. That's Osama bin Laden treatment. All boys school? Oh no.
gold medal Olympians, MLB players, actors, singers, Super Bowl champions, congressmen, Ivy League professors, and more.
I know I'm pausing a lot, but just notice how they're showing just like straight black and white pictures, because nobody in their right mind is going to an all men's school in the big 2020-29.
Despite this story taking place in the lavish Haverford Township, Neil actually grew up in a modest one-story home in Paoli, Pennsylvania, about a 19-minute drive from Haverford. His father, who was a carpenter, sent him to Conestoga High School, a way less expensive but very respectable high school. Here, he played lacrosse and was pretty good at it. So good, in fact, that Haverford recruited him on scholarship his junior year to play goalie for them.
Lacrosse. What sport y'all play in the comments? Let's be real. Everybody played a sport. You done played with balls before. Footballs, soccer balls, tennis balls, lacrosse balls. Y'all let me know in the comments.
To most of his classmates, he seemed like a typical high schooler, a funny, sarcastic kid who enjoyed the occasional toke and solo cup party. But after he graduated in 2008, something changed in him. Whether it was the pressures of adult life creeping up on him, something going on at home, or whatever else, Neil was starting to become a different person. He attended Connecticut College fresh out of high school, and as you could have guessed, played lacrosse for them. But it seemed like he deteriorated from the all-star goalie he used to be. His teammates described him as a mediocre athlete at best, some even going as far as labeling him terrible. He would also get pissed off abnormally often. I remember him getting heated, like if you fucked with him or whatever, he would kind of snap. Neil stopped playing lacrosse after a single season and quickly engulfed himself in the typical college life of partying, smoking copious amounts of weed, and making fake IDs. Okay, you probably didn't make fake IDs in college, but if you did, thank you for your service.
I done did some fake ID dealings in February at that. It was a wild week in New York.
But Neil making fake IDs got him kicked out of school after just 3 semesters of attending, and he was left with nothing to do. With no concrete plan in mind, he moved to San Diego and stayed in a bungalow on a beach to flee the drugs and trouble back home. Smart move to move to California when you're trying to get away from drugs. But thankfully, one of his old Haverford lacrosse coaches was able to get him a coaching job at the LAX West lacrosse program. He worked there for a little bit while also holding a job at a medical marijuana dispensary. So much for staying away from drugs, before moving to another coaching position, this time at a youth program. But like his college career, that didn't last long either. Only 2 months into the position, he cursed at a 10-year-old child, revealing his anger issues had stayed with him from college.
Hey, that's not bad. Sometimes when these kids be talking, you just want to look at them and be like, look, you know how many times I wanted to snatch up a 10-year-old? When I'm in a movie theater and I hear a little 10-year-old talking, I be wanting to goddamn karate chop their parents and then pop the kid too. Even though he looked like a menace, the devious look in his face, cursing at a 10-year-old. Pretty valid to me.
Being fired, he once again fell into his old routine of being a druggie, but this time with harder drugs like Xanax and other prescription pills. His boss at the youth program said it best. He started losing grip with reality. With seemingly all hope lost, Neil moved back to Philadelphia with absolutely no clue what his future held. Well, except for one idea. When he returned home by late fall of 2013 with no cash in his pockets, he hit up an old Haverford teammate, a guy named Stocky Euler, and pitched a genius money-making idea. Yo Stocky, it's Neil from Hford. Just got back from Cali, got a bunch of greens. Know anyone around Philly who might be interests? Ha ha ha, yo brother, how are you? Like, weight? Doing pretty well, man. Yeah, got a lot of weight. Constant supply, great numbers. So yeah, Neil's fantastic idea was to deal drugs. However, Stocky wasn't going to be Neil's partner in all of this. A kid named Timothy Brooks was. Timothy had a very different upbringing than Neil, and by different, I mean he was way more loaded.
Damn, that's your house? Hey, I ain't gonna lie. The first dude right here looked like a straight hippie. I thought it was green. I thought it was a good idea. I thought he was gonna be the one. He's smart. You right here, if you was living like that, you seen one movie then thought you could do it. Shit, I be seeing one movie and thinking I could do it too.
Like Neil, Timothy had to drop out of school almost as quickly as he got there, but not for the same reason. He sustained a terrible shoulder injury, an injury so bad that it required serious surgery and him to drop out of Richmond. This was a devastating blow to Timothy. Lacrosse was his identity, and he was so talented at the sport. But this career-ending injury put him in a dark place. A place where he thought that dealing drugs with Neil was a fantastic idea. While sitting in his childhood bedroom, bored out of his mind, Timothy was desperate to earn some money to get out on his own. Even though he smoked in high school, he had never dealt drugs or shown interest in it at all. But
bro, this story is not making sense, bro. Y'all failed at sports, so you started selling drugs? But you didn't try to go to school. You was at the best school. You could have got a degree. You had a loving mom and dad. The dudes in the hood don't even got a dad and they don't got money. So at the end of the day, I gotta look at you as corny. You could have at least got a degree and did something else with your life. But because lacrosse didn't work, you sold drugs. That's why they be saying the types of people after high school, it be the dudes on the basketball team in high school who always end up being one of them type of people in jail and stuff, bro. You know why? They already dumb as hell. They don't got nothing in school. They dumb. They don't know 2 + 2. The best basketball player at my school, bro, the teacher used to call him to read. He couldn't even pronounce because. Then they not good enough to play in a college level, so they always ruin their career right then and there, and now they have no clue what they're gonna do with their life.
But to have an operation this big, you need to have some sort of concrete plan. The duo knew this and started to plan out what the operation would look like, starting with defining their home base. They landed on using Neil's apartment, a cramped 1-bedroom place on the 2nd floor of a flimsy-looking rental house less than 900 feet from Haverford. It seemed like an okay spot, especially considering no one would ever go near it because it was, quote, covered in like 500 dog turds, according to his neighbors. This is where pounds of weed from California would be shipped, thanks to Neil's connections, which he made from working in the dispensary. The duo would take this weed and repackage it for distribution while also dealing within the apartment, which was probably pretty clutch for Haverford students. I mean, they could literally stroll out of 7th period and be less than 3 football fields away from snagging some bud. But okay, the base of operations was set in stone. But how are they going to take over the main line's drug supply?
Walk into the emo girl. You know what I'm saying? You already know. The emo girls, bro, they do more than that. It be the white girls, bro. I'm just gonna be honest. It be the white girls. Bro, you be at a party, you'll hear a white girl ask you for cigarettes. Bro, I was at a party and a white guy asked me for coke. I'm like, bro, am I in the right place? What do you mean do I got coke? Well, I know I got crackhead energy, but damn.
It's not like they had any connections to the drug dealing world, so what would they do? Well, they utilized the only connections they had left. The Haverford lacrosse team. You see, the elite school's lacrosse program was a tight-knit
Look at these
group.
dudes.
The powerhouse team thought of themselves as elite and had their own culture. A culture that was bound together by recreational drug use. A Haverford grad said, if you took one sport and said which one parties the most, it's the lacrosse guys. And the duo planned on fully utilizing that aspect of their bond to get their old teammates to deal drugs for them. Timothy and Neil's plan had them jittering with excitement. I mean, they both had similar stories. A great high school life, a dark turn post-graduation, and now a need for a sense of accomplishment. They had the motivation to accomplish something, but after they lost what they loved doing, they didn't know what that something could be.
What?
Now they did. According to an ex-coach from Haverford, most alumni go on to become great fathers and husbands and give back to the prep school in the form of money or time. But
What?
instead of those things, the duo was going to give back drugs.
Most people go back and give back money back to their school. Bro, what? Once I leave that school, everybody can kiss my teachers, my principal, what? My counselor? The same counselor that helped me for 4 years straight. Eat my ass, man. You ain't helped me enough. What are you talking? But why they kind of making Lacoste look fun? Is it called Lacoste, lacrosse, laboste? Whatever they doing, that shit kind of look a little fun. I can't lie.
In October 2013, Neil and Timothy officially began the Mainline Takeover project and got off to a decent start. Neil successfully recruited 2 lacrosse friends right off the bat, a 23-year-old named Chester Simmons and, as we saw before, a 23-year-old named Stocky Euler. Timothy, on the other hand, brought in an 18-year-old senior at Haverford named Dan McGrath, a guy Timothy described as a highly motivated poor kid.
Buddy, you look like McLovin. But who are these recruits? You can tell he about to snitch.
Timothy kept supplying his 18-year-old senior, and Neil would drive ounces to Lafayette and Gettysburg College to supply Chester and Stocky while also continuing their efforts to recruit more high school kids. Timothy and Neil were drooling at the opportunity on their hands, and they were already dreaming bigger. I don't know what you make in a week, but I want to make $2,000 if I do this.
Oh.
And there are still a lot of holes to fill because I have to grow my business. I'll be straight with you on how I flip it, and we can work out the numbers. I'll help you with whatever I can. 2,000 is definitely feasible. Like I said, I'm trying to start a business and I'm learning how to run this one well. Just have to find the right people and don't rush it. Everything has a way of falling into line. Yeah.
Buddy acting like faith in God gonna help this situation. God don't support this. Oh, everything will fall in line. Patience, I'm trying to run a business. Y'all using all of that academic prep you learned in school towards this. That 4.0 GPA gotta go to work somewhere. I don't know how the heck you got into that school, but hey, y'all using that entrepreneur econ class you took to well work. Let's be real. Them boys think they an entrepreneur. But stop all that preaching talking about we just have to find the right people. Everything has a way of falling into line. When you walk into the gates of heaven, God gonna ask you, ain't you the same dude who was selling drugs to students in high school?
Yeah, the question is, can I find the right guy that can run that operation? And it turns out they found a ton more people that could do it. While showing these kids the large amounts of pot he had, he would convince them to join the operation by offering drugs on credit and being very relaxed with his enforcement. My Mainline Takeover project is coming together fast, and I'm telling all of my guys I never want their schools to be dry, cause I always got pissed as when I couldn't find Bud. This last week made me realize how much I love money. Yes, he would keep in close contact with his guys and make sure there was never a drought of drugs within his high schools, but he never issued any threats. Unlike Neil. This man took a way more aggressive approach, constantly pushing his guys to identify new customers and carrying a menacing tone when they didn't do what he wanted. You have $1,000 bounty on your head. I will find you. Piece of heard you ripped off more people on your campus. Between the nice guy and dickhead approach, the duo was quickly expanding into many more high schools and colleges. They tapped into 5 different high schools and 3 colleges while recruiting 9 total sub-dealers in the process. Not bad for being in business for only 4 months. With their now enlarged network of drug dealing kids and more money coming in from offering different products like cocaine and ecstasy, the guys couldn't have been happier with how things were going. When you were a senior at Haverford, did you ever think you could pull that? Only dreamed it. There is a much bigger market than just a pound at each of these schools. Conestoga alone is a couple a week. Neil and Timothy finally had a sense of accomplishment in their life. All of their hardships were in the past, and now all they could think about doing was tackling more schools, slinging more drugs, and growing the Mainline Takeover project as much as they could.
Bro, be for real right now. Bro, why is he sitting up here congratulating them like they just ran the craziest business? Bro, that's not gonna work. He already sitting up here talking about some $1,000 bounty. You gonna end somebody like who's ending somebody's life for $1,000? I'm gonna go to jail for 20 years for $1,000. You can't even bail out with that.
Turns out that while the duo was actively growing their operation, the Montgomery County's narcotics enforcement team was actively building a case against them. In January 2014, less than 2 months after the genesis of the Mainline Takeover project, the NET was hot on their trail, piecing together their operation from the ground up. And it wasn't a hard one to piece together at all. You see, Timothy and Neil might have had a great education in the traditional sense, but they didn't grow up as drug dealers. Simply put, they had absolutely no clue how to run a drug operation. Sure, they were recruiting sub-dealers fast and moving way quickly,
they're gonna
but
snitch.
they didn't think about protecting themselves at all. All of their sub-dealers used their personal cell phones to communicate, phones that were easy to track down by the NET after they received some anonymous tips. The team was able to pinpoint 4 of the duo's sub-dealers and set up controlled drug buys to capture them. The first
If you got a big homie that's making you sell drugs for him and you get caught, are you snitching? I ain't gonna lie. If one dude already threatened to put a bounty on my head, bro, you going to jail with me, bro. Catch that bounty in the jail cell. Catch it with the booty hole or something, bro. Cause, I'm not going by myself. You already threatened to put a bounty on my head. You think I'm gonna go to jail for you? Yeah, if I'm gonna drop the soap, you better drop it right with me. Ain't no much of a bounty you could put on me for then.
The first was a 17-year-old nicknamed MGM, who was known for flexing his shoe collection and posting about his drug dealing on Instagram. How dumb can you get? When MGM's controlled buy took place, he tried to save grace by launching his jars of weed out of his childhood bedroom. But the jars literally landed in the arms of a detective and he was arrested shortly after. The remaining 3 dealers were successfully caught too, and according to police, all of them admitted to dealing, sending incriminatory text messages, and would later snitch on Neil and Timothy.
I already knew they was gonna snitch. Look at him. Who you think snitched first? I don't think it was him. Even though he looked like he gonna snitch, I don't think it was him. He looked a little fried in it. Dude right here, he snitched. It's no way in hell you recruited her to do a drug deal. I ain't trusting nobody who don't got eyebrows. I ain't trusting nobody who don't got eyebrows.
The NET now had more than enough information to confront the duo. Timothy was up first and was shell-shocked when detectives knocked on his childhood home and arrested him on February 28, 2014. Luckily for him, he didn't really have much on him, just a pound of kush and $800. But Neil's bust was a different story. The detectives seized about 8 pounds of marijuana, 23 grams of cocaine, 11 grams of ecstasy, 3 grams of hash oil, and $11,000 in cash from Neil, along with 3 books about massively successful drug rings.
Oh my God, I knew he thought he was El Chapo. He thought he was Desperado. You're not that guy, pal. You're just not. You're using methods from the 1800s. He read one mafia book and thought he could be that guy. No, just like in Lacoste, just like your Lacoste career. You ain't gonna be a Lacosser, you ain't gonna be a drug dealer. You're a professional pocket holder in jail now, buddy.
He found communications about everything, from texts about meeting up with dealers, how much they were going to pay, all the different kinds of drugs they sold, and much more. Their cell phones revealed the entire scope of their business, and when April 21st, 2014 rolled around, it was finally time for them to face the music. On that spring afternoon, Timothy was the first to arrive at the courthouse in Ardmore, a mile.
Look at him. You was a Disney star, buddy. Buddy, you was a high school jock. What are you doing? You had no, bro. This is an all-A student. His lowest grade's a 93. He had no business doing this.
On that spring afternoon, Timothy was the first to arrive at the courthouse in Ardmore, a mile east of Haverford High School. His partner showed up shortly after, looking much more pissed off.
Get the out of my face. Fuck you.
Timothy, Neil, and 9 suspected sub-dealers, along with 2 juveniles, stood in front of the judge on counts much more severe than dealing pot. They were charged with manufacturing and delivering controlled substances, criminal conspiracy, and dealing in a corrupt organization, among other drug-related charges. And their final court appearance later that month would be the day they finally got sentenced. But it ended up not being so bad for one of them. That day was a lot different than their initial appearance in April. While the scandal was still piping hot back then, it had cooled down a lot at this point, with barely any reporters covering the sentencing. What seemed to have taken their place was family. Timothy's family, to be exact, who were all there in support. And it wasn't just his father, mother, and brother. It was everyone in his life. His therapist, his boss, his Alcoholics Anonymous sponsor. Around 50 people came out to support and speak on behalf of the 19-year-old defendant, and their touching stories really resonated with the judge. Timothy was given a very light sentence for his crimes, only 9 to 23 months in county jail and 5 years probation. Unlike Neil, who had nowhere near the same support and received 5 to 15 years in state prison. And better yet, Timothy finally didn't take his lucky situation for granted. While being in jail for 7.5 months, surrounded by more drug use than ever, he got completely sober by sticking with healthy habits like working, exercising, in writing letters and maintaining contact with his extensive support system. An impressive feat, considering he had been drinking and doing drugs since he was 14. Upon his release, he was accepted into a new college, a school called Cabrini, where he made the lacrosse team and even won a D3 national championship. After graduating in 2019, he founded Synergy Houses, 2 sober living homes for men, and regularly speaks about his story of dealing drugs and his path to sobriety to this day.
What? Oh, so we leave our man stranded in the past and then we turn into Gandhi for real. But your man serving 5 to 15 while you out there doing TED Talks. You was just on cocaine, boy. I do like that switch he did. We gotta be honest. That switch was kind of motivational. He turned bad to good. You know good and well what he'd rather be doing right now.
Neil, on the other hand, is likely still serving his lengthy prison sentence.
Yeah, Neil is doomed. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of feel bad for Neil, but then I don't. I would have snitched on Neil too. Neil talking about something he gonna put me in jail with him. 1,000 on my head. Neil need a lot of time in jail, and I don't be wishing jail on people, but Neil, 1,000 on my head, that would have been enough for me to snitch on you to go to jail for the rest of your life. Shout out to these 4 people right here. If you didn't know, 4 people get a shout out at the end of every video, and if you want a shout out, like the video and let me know you liked it in the comment section, because I will pick 4 lucky people to get a shout out. Look, you guys, show some love to the jackets. We already sold out on smalls. Shout out to everybody who got one. We already sold out on extra larges. Shout out to everybody who got one. And there's 3 or 2 larges left right now, you guys. There's 2 large jackets left. Code HBD. You can get a little off on your order. I ain't no villain. You know what I'm saying? I'm a good dude. I'm a good dude. Get these jackets, man. Let's get them off me. They better than what you could normally get. A lot of people wear the same jackets. You know that. You can get you some different swag and actually get the swag. And it's a crop jacket, you guys. Keep that in mind when you buy the jacket. To everybody who bought it, make sure you know it's cropped, gang. But if you bought a size up, if you bought it your size, it's all gonna fit you. But know what it means to have a crop jacket. It's not a dress. It's supposed to fit your silhouette exactly, gang. Just know it's a lot of thought being put into these jackets. Thank you to everybody who bought it. It's your boy Dooley. I'm gone.